don't know how to say this without it sounding weak. I'm stuck. Not the kind of stuck where you're inconvenienced. The kind where you're standing in a hallway that leads nowhere, and every door you try is locked. You've been praying, you've been trying, you've been doing everything right, and still, nothing is moving. So you're starting to wonder, am I being ignored, punished, forgotten? Let me tell you what's really happening. You've been performing faith when your heart feels hollow, smiling in public while falling apart in private, lifting your hands in worship while screaming questions in your mind. You've tried to stay busy, hoping the noise would drown out the ache. You've whispered the right prayers, said the right words, posted the right quotes. But nothing changes, and the silence is deafening. You're tired of waiting, tired of pretending you're okay when you're not. Tired of being told to just have faith when faith feels like holding sand. The harder you grip, the more it slips through your fingers. You've measured your worth by unanswered prayers, by closed doors, by the gap between what you hoped for and what you're living. And now you're here, still reaching, still talking to a God you're not even sure is listening. But here's what you've missed. That is the miracle. You think faith means feeling close to God, having the right words, being strong enough to praise through the pain. But what if faith is simpler than that? What if it's just showing up when you have nothing left, reaching even when your hands are empty, whispering I'm still here when you can't say anything else? Your silence is a prayer. Your exhaustion is honesty. Your doubt doesn't disqualify you. It makes you human. God doesn't need your performance. He doesn't need your perfect prayers or your forced gratitude or your Instagram-worthy faith. He needs your truth. The real, messy, broken truth of where you are right now. You don't have to pretend you're okay. You don't have to fake strength you don't feel. You don't have to worship louder to prove you still believe. You just have to stay, not because you understand what's happening, not because you feel close, not because you're certain it will work out, but because even in your doubt, some part of you still hopes. And that hope, that stubborn, illogical, barely there hope, that's faith. Not the kind that moves mountains, the kind that just refuses to give up. So here's the question you need to answer. Are you going to let this hallway convince you that you're forgotten, that your prayers don't matter, that God stopped caring? Or are you going to choose right now, in this stuck place, to believe that the silence doesn't mean absence, that closed doors don't mean rejection, that waiting doesn't mean abandonment, that the hallway isn't the end of your story? It's just where you are right now. You don't need fireworks. You don't need a sign in the sky. You don't need everything to make sense. You just need to decide, will you stay? Will you keep reaching? Will you trust that even when you can't feel God, He's still here? Because strength isn't pretending you're fine. Strength is showing up broken and saying, I don't understand this, but I'm not walking away. You're in a hallway, and it's hard, and it's lonely, and it feels like nothing is moving. But hallways connect rooms. They're not destinations, they're transitions, and you won't be here forever. So keep breathing, keep reaching, keep showing up, even when it hurts. Because the God you're talking to, He's not waiting at the end of the hallway to see if you make it. He's walking with you, right here, right now, in the stuck place. You're not forgotten. This is Raw Threshold. Subscribe if you're done pretending to be okay.